got really excited that we actually did record it because some of the people were so inspired. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal, and there's a gentleman named Benny Batista who has a not-for-profit boxing club in San Francisco, and do you remember, I mean, Benny was just plugged in. He was just so excited about what he did, and it was literally great to hear. And so it did get recorded and so forth, and I think it's great fodder for Benny, for his organization and so forth and so on. So I actually would ask any of you, obviously give you the option. There is a live mic here, and if you'd like to talk a little bit about what you do, it would be helpful for this whole, and it would also be helpful potentially for you moving forward with, you know, whatever. So I'd see you saying, no, but come on, Coach, you got to be vocal.
And actually, Selena and Rachel got up and spoke at the VACR launch, because this is one of the programs of VACR, so they were there, but not all of VISTA are affiliated with VACR-sponsored programs.
Okay, well.
You don't need to mic me because she said everything that.
Well, she wasn't mic'd though, so I'll give everybody the option. It would be really helpful, but obviously I'll leave it up to you. But in either case, I'm Barry.
Oh,
Did you want to talk?
Rachel.
Okay.
Yep, you're good. I'm Liana.
Hi, Liana.
I work at Oasis. It's a nonprofit after-school program in Oakland.
Okay.
And what I do is I do volunteer recruitment, training, screening of Laney College students as well as community members to work at Cleveland Elementary School, which is our second and newer school site.
And what do we do at Cleveland Elementary School?
It's the same thing as at Lincoln, which has been going on for 26 years. There's an enrichment portion in the first part of the day after school.
Okay.
They do arts and sciences and things that they don't get in school. They have a break, and then they do homework. And so the volunteers help with the homework support.
And how old?
At Cleveland, it's kindergarten through 5th.
Okay.
And then we also have another high school program, but I don't work with that.
Which of the grades do you prefer?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know. The kindergartners are adorable.
Right.
They're so funny.
They are. No, I mean, I coach youth sports, and I've coached Berkeley High School, whatever, but I love coaching second and third graders. They're just hysterical. They're just hysterical. I mean, there's just so, it's obviously a different mindset of what you're capable of pulling off on the basketball floor, but from an entertainment point of view. No, I don't know, but it's certainly kind of fun. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Sally. I'm
Hi.
an outreach coordinator at Reading Partners. We're an educational nonprofit, and we serve 24 elementary schools. We're free service to the schools, and we offer one-on-one tutoring for K through 5th grade.
Do you tutor?
No, yes, I tutor second grader most weeks. Wait, I just started.
Do I tutor? And so do you tutor just general education, like spelling, reading,
just
writing, arithmetic type thing?
phonics, comprehension, and fluency. That's it. Just those 3 areas, and we've been tutoring for 10 years.
Cool. You like it?
Yeah, it's a great program.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm Sarah.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you too. I work at the American Lung Association, and I'm running, along with a couple other people here, an asthma education program. So we go out to over 50 OUSD schools, like in Oakland, and teach 3rd through 6th graders with asthma how to manage their symptoms and prevent triggers and make their environment safer for them, and also how to take their medication properly, in the hope of kind of instilling a preventative health.
Cool. Very cool. Barry.
Jake.
Hey, Jake.
I work at the Internet Archive, and I work on the NASA Images project, which is the largest database for like all of NASA's media.
Cool.
I do anything from outreach to archiving.
And tell me what archive means, because I truly don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I could guess, but.
Well, right now we're working on with this program called Archive It to like archive NASA's websites, to just like take snapshots of their websites.
Wow.
And kind of like every so often, like every month or every like 2 times a year or something, and then also like archiving or digitizing video that hasn't been digitized yet, or digitizing, scanning film that hasn't been scanned yet.
And how did you evolve to doing something like this? Just curious.
Well, I went to school for photography.
Oh, okay.
At art school. So.
But did you have an interest in space?
Sure.
Okay. Barry.
Dennis.
Hey, Dennis. How are you?
I work for also the American Lung Association, but I spend most of my time over at Children's Hospital Oakland, where I work as an asthma caseworker. So I deliver education to the patients and their families in hopes of preventing repeat ER visits.
Cool. Like it?
I do. Love it.
Cool. You evolve in that direction moving forward?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Barry.
Christine.
Hi,
Nice to
Christine.
meet
How are
Barry.
you?
Doing well, thanks. I work for Experience Corps. We're a nonprofit in Oakland, and I work specifically in East Oakland schools, K through 5. Cleveland is one of my schools as well. And,
Where's Cleveland? I'm sorry to interrupt,
oh,
but where? I mean,
It's
it's
in the Cleveland Hills. So if you're in Oakland near Lake Merritt,
yes,
and you have Lakeshore Avenue,
yes,
you're in Grand,
yes.
It's kind of up MacArthur. You keep going up MacArthur, like up the hills, like where that. It's in a very residential area. It's very open and just little houses, and then it's like the school, right up in the hill there, above Lakeshore.
Is it near Davy Tennis Stadium or no? That's
No,
up.
no,
that's
that's
up the other way.
down
That's the
Lake.
other way up. Okay, all right. Okay. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm also at Piedmont Avenue, but that's a whole other story. Oh, right, yeah. And so what we do is we recruit, screen, train, and place adults 55 and older to be tutors and mentors. So it's an intergenerational
cool.
component to make the schools more intergenerational and have the students have like positive adult role models and just also provide the one-on-one
Sure.
tutoring support for them, so the teachers identify, which students need that extra one-on-one support that they can
Right.
provide them with, and then we place the tutors there. And also, it's like we call it a win-win because then the tutors, the older adults, are staying active and getting involved in the community. Our main target is like the boomers who are semi-retired or retired and can have some time to work with youth.
And how do you recruit?
A few different ways. We post on volunteercenter.org or Volunteer Match or Craigslist. And then we also go out to local senior centers and give presentations. And hold like little events, like bring a friend to breakfast or whatever.
That's very cool.
Yeah. It's
Very
fun.
cool. Wow, very cool.
It's fun.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
Good. We work for Discovering the Reality of Our Community,
Okay.
which is a after-school, during-school program in Richmond high schools. It's youth empowerment they created an environmental prevention project.
Like at Richmond High School down on 23rd?
No, that's the only one we don't work
Okay.
with, but all the others in
Okay.
the area.
So like Deanza and
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Just making sure I understood.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you do? I'm sorry. I mean, what's your charter at these places?
My title
Yeah,
is
would like
academic coordinator, but we actually kind of like our positions are interchangeable more or less, and so we both focus on facilitating the meetings and helping the students like come up with a project that addresses substance abuse in their neighborhood or community. And right now, I'm trying to make sure everyone's passing, so I'm recruiting tutors and starting a tutor after like club at Berkeley.
Oh, good for you.
And we also do a lot of fundraising for the students too. So
You like it?
it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really mean. But
Yes,
I like
yes,
it
yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
No, I'm very familiar with it actually.
Yeah.
Again, I coached basketball at Berkeley High. It's
yeah.
challenging. It's
Yeah.
very, very, it's rewarding, but it's challenging as all
Yeah.
heck. It really is challenging. You're welcome to just say ditto, but I'd certainly like to have you add to the.
Well, my name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. Barry.
Hi. I'm the program assistant for D-Rock, Discovering the Realities of Our Community. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Right now we're focusing on getting the kids to kind of brainstorm and come up with ideas of what they want to focus on for their environmental prevention project. It seems like at Deanza they want to do something focusing on the security that's there, because like even though they have a lot of cameras placed around, none of them work. It's just a red blinking light. So maybe we'll work on something to work on that.
Cool.
See.
Very good.
Hello,
Barry.
Yolanda.
Hi, Yolanda.
Hello. So I can go ahead and actually ditto Zara. So I'm one of the co-coordinators for the Oakland Kicks Asthma Program. So we work with the elementary schools and middle schools and bringing asthma education to the students that have asthma, all in OUSD.
Wow, cool. And you, young lady?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to shake hands with you because
No,
I know
I
you
know.
don't want me to.
Yeah. Well, I'm Carol
Hi, Carol.
proud program director of our AmeriCorps VISTA program. And this is the largest group that we have ever had.
No way, wow.
We
I'm
quadrupled
honored.
in size. Actually, last year was our smallest with 6 because of glitches with the corporation with us. Normally we'd have 12. So we have, this year, we have 12 partners, that is host sites, and then represented by 20 VISTA. Because
Okay.
as you heard, sometimes we have 2 VISTA at one site.
Right.
So we're much more diversified than we have been in the past.
Okay.
And I think it's enriching our program. And,
It sounds like it.
our knowledge of what can be done, and we've also had examples already of some cross-networking for mutual benefit in terms of quid pro quo, of, doing one thing for one organization and they respond with something else.
Sure. Cool. Well, I have to say, well, first of all, thanks everybody, and thanks Carol. I have to say that I've done a lot of these, and I've been in the people business pretty much many more years than all you were alive. But I have to say that it'd be hard for me to believe that anyone in this room is not enthusiastic about what they do. I think everybody kind of convinced me pretty quickly that they enjoy their VISTA responsibilities. If you're faking, you did a great job of faking, and if you are faking and you need to fake sometimes, then I thought everybody was really pretty well prepared to talk about what it was that mattered to them and what it was they were doing in their work, and engaged me certainly with a handshake and eye contact, which of course is a big part of moving forward in any interview situation, in any meeting situation, any social situation, and so forth. Whenever I have an opportunity to do something like this, the things that I would always say is I have a lot to say. I could talk for hours on end about my craft. Again, it's been 30-some odd years, and I enjoy helping people along through the process. But the key to success in any situation, workshop like this, is you folks. The feedback I get, and just the type of help that you want, or the type of input you want, or opinions that you want, or whatever. A number of years ago, I think. Well, I'm sure that Tony passed out a document that I wrote called "How the Truth Will Set You and Your Crew Free." Did everybody have a chance to read that? Okay. Well, if you didn't, the quick story was I had this epiphany a number of years ago, and it happened kind of as a result of boring myself as I went to prepare people to go on interviews in a job search. And I realized, over and over and over again that my message was the same: is just be pretty clear about what it is you're trying to accomplish, be pretty clear about what it is you want, and then recapitulate that, in different forms and formats throughout the process of the interview. And at the worst case, at the end of the day, at least you've been honest. At least you've told the truth about yourself and as best as you know it. There's, and this will probably happen, for a number of times. I was once told that if you can't be bright, quote bright people, so I'll defer to that part and quote a lot of bright people. And there's a quote that says, "He who lies loudest, who lies to himself." So, I think it's very, very important that you understand what you're about at this moment. I've had some conversations with people say, well, I don't really know where I want to go, and that's more than fair, certainly. So if all you have to quantify is today, then you have today to quantify. But be very, very clear about what it is you know about yourself, and if you're not clear about what you want moving forward, then that's a fair statement to make in an interview as well. Again, the worst thing you could do is not be truthful. It just for yourself and for anybody else. I've read books, I've seen articles, I've seen countless pieces of information about if this happens in the interview, then you say that, or this happens and you say that. And I guess that's somebody's opinion, but my opinion is be honest, and you'll hear along the way about ways to take the truth and make it very, very powerful, in the interview process. So there were quotes attached, and I think we're trying to get them in here, but we had some copy problems and so forth. And I think my wife, was out there. But I know she's out there trying to get these booklets that we have put together for all of you. But when I initially did this training, and I've done training similar to this via webinar to large groups of AmeriCorps alumni, several hundred people in 30 states across the country on webinars. Pretty fun, actually. And great group of audience, people from, again, about 30 different states. I didn't have a lot of stuff to put up on the webinar screen, and because I believe so much in the truth, and because I believe so much in if you can't be smart, quote, bright people, I extrapolated over the years probably 10 pages of different people, way brighter than I, way more established than I, who gave their own quotes, if you will, about the truth. And I use them, again, as kind of grounding statements for me, because somewhere in here I would imagine you all relate to at least one of them, if not a number of them. And when I did one of these workshops with Kim's group, do you all know Kim upstairs? Anyway, so when I did one with Kim, I said, Kim, you guys are great, and you're obviously very interactive, and this is going to be, I think, a lot more fun because you are interactive. But in Kim's group, we didn't have quite much interactivity at first, so I had to keep picking on Kim. And I said, Kim, which quote do you most relate to? And she picked a Gloria Steinem quote, which goes, "The truth will set you free, but first it'll piss you off." And so that was, Kim's kind of rallying card. And I took that quote because Kim said it, and I wound up putting it on the top of the document because I thought it was so kind of entertaining and true, obviously, sometimes. So we have booklets that ultimately we're going to fill up for you with a lot of things that you can use both today and hopefully later on. I tried to make this program today as rich for all of you as I possibly could, with things to read and things to refer back to and ways to get focus on certain points of the process. But, for me, everything kind of starts in your own mind. I have a son who's an aspiring filmmaker. He's 23 years old, a UCLA grad, and he's working for minimum wage or whatever in a coffee shop in LA. But he's a comedy writer, and that's what he wants to do. And so people say, well, gee, that's really hard, and it's pretty hard to be successful. And my comment is, it is, but what's harder is being in a job you hate every day in your life. And so I don't know if did anybody in here read anything at all about me before you came in here today? It's okay if you didn't, but I would share with you. Did anybody?
No, I only read about 27, but I don't think it was a little while.
Okay, so if you, I have a very poorly constructed blog that's, but it's basically a bio. Well, it's pretty poorly constructed, but certainly by relation of other blogs. But the story on it is very true, and actually there's a picture on me. The only picture I think, or maybe there's one other of me in the internet at all, leaning against the back of one of my favorite players that I ever coached at Berkeley High School, and the blog is called Share the Ball, because I believe very much in being inclusive and sharing, and and so forth, and just something that really matters to me in life. I'm a basketball coach. I'm a team guy. It's a 5-person game, is it not? Well, you want it to be. So in either case, two things about that. When you go into a situation, a social situation of any kind, and even something like this, as much as you can inform yourself about the situation you're going into, in this case there would have been some bio about me, it would be helpful to know as much as you can about the person or the people that you're going to meet, so you could be that much more interactive and interesting. So it would really, really be helpful. And I'm kind of glad you didn't read it in one level, but I could use the example as a tool. If you were to go into an interview situation and meet with somebody, whoever it might be, you want to do as much homework as you possibly can ahead of time so you can be conversant on the subject matter. You all did unbelievably wonderful jobs of giving me a little snapshot of yourselves. It was terrific. And we're going to get into something called elevator speeches, but I think you all have the basis of a terrific elevator speech already. And I think, seriously, we could save a lot of time with that, because I think you all did terrific jobs. I apologize for my eye here. But you also then want to be as as informed as you can about the other side of the table. It's really, really important. You're a radio personality. Do you do interviews on radio? Sometimes. So you would do your homework, correct, on the person you're interviewing, so you have some ability to do that. What I would share with you is, and I just thought of this, is if you watch Oprah, if you watch morning television and you watch somebody conduct an interview with somebody else, you can see how well prepared they are, and of course it keeps it interesting. And you want to be interesting. You don't want to be boring. You want to be engaged. You want to be able to be dynamic enough that somebody gets a sense of who you are. You can, pardon me, you can be one of the most scientifically brilliant people in the world, and unless you are purely involved in something that's pure rocket science and you have a skill that nobody else could possibly have, and maybe you don't have to at that point have anything social to say, you want to be social, you want to be interactive, you want to be able to exchange. And frankly, it's in the spirit of what I think all of you would understand, which is service. You want to let people know that you care about them as well. This is not just, gee, I hope I get this job, or gee, I hope I get into grad school, or whatever it is you're interviewing for, whatever conversation you're having. And we're going to talk a lot about this today. And I'm very glad you're raising your hand. We're going to talk a lot about this today, of being of service and having an external focus. If you have an external focus, minimally speaking, you try to add value to a situation. Whether or not you get a job or whether or not you get into a school or whatever it is, at least minimally you applied yourself in an external fashion and did so. And so, yes, young lady, I have a question.
I just wanted to say, like, what you were saying about, like, doing your research is very true. At my site, we were interviewing for a part-time AmeriCorps person, and they were so prepared to sell themselves but had no idea what we did. They thought my boss was actually a man because of her name, and, like, didn't look at our website or anything, and it was just really awkward and it was a phone interview. It was really weird, and it was like, yeah, you need to be prepared for those type of things to show how you connect with other people, else they're really not going to be engaged at all.
Right. I mean, thank you. It's true. I mean, and it's a turnoff, right? For many of you who are coming into the job market, and I know there are a number of you here are thinking about applying to graduate school as well, and I think, I hope you told Tony, right? I have a gentleman who's a friend and a client of mine who's volunteering his time and energy to take Bart up here later today to be here at 4 o'clock to talk to any of you. He's a Stanford grad who, as an avocation, helps people apply to grad school as a profession. So he's going to sit and talk with all of you about applications and the interview process. And hopefully by the time Michael gets here, we'll be pretty well versed in the interview process, is my hope. But in either case, it's very, very important that you have this external focus. Okay, and again, all of you, by the nature of being in this room today, obviously have an external focus. You're volunteers. You're volunteering your time and your energy and your resources. So it's something that I would encourage you to continue, and don't have a change of heart and don't have a change of mind when you stop doing this. If you help others, it has a way of coming back to you. So it's very important, and it's in a way disrespectful to not have some sense of the situation that you're walking into, and it could be a big turnoff, correct? It could be a very big turnoff. So in either case, I diverted a little bit, and I had a book here, but we didn't get it filled up. So I'm a poster child for attention deficit, so I'm going to drift all over the place. So somebody remind me and smack me back to where we're headed. But on that blog, my essential life story, and about this far, which is a little discouraging, but and essentially when I was 18 years old, I knew that I wanted to coach basketball. I knew it like I knew my name. It's the only thing I ever knew I wanted to do. And I didn't start to do it till I was 45. And I would encourage every one of you to not wait that long to do what you want to do. I would encourage very strongly, learn from, if you learn nothing else here today, learn from that. Following your heart is a really important thing, and staying in touch with your heart is a really important thing. And the basis of the WIN statement, the basis of that whole exercise was to spend time on a recurring basis to try to understand in a very fluid manner what's important now in your life. And the keynote is now, because now's fluid, right? Time moves. And so one of my teachers, I know his New Year's resolution is to go lock himself in a hotel room by himself and try to plot out the next year what he hopes to accomplish in his personal life, in his parental life, in his business life, you know, fitness and whatever it is. And I see you smiling. Is that overwhelming? But I have a question, Coach. When you, oh, come on, we're going to have fun with this. Come on. If your team is down 20, how do you come back? What's the way to come back from 20 points down? One possession at a time, right? Yeah. One possession at a time. You can't win the whole game on the next possession, okay? And so when we call, you know, and I'm sorry to do this to everybody else, but I have a foil here, so I'll probably work it a little bit until she comes and smacks me. But I do that to my kids. Okay, so when we're in a huddle, okay, and it's a euphemism, and I talk about this all the time, and I'm sure you do it as well, maybe not even as consciously as you realize, but, you know, for me, it was then and it remains now, and I do coach basketball now, and I've coached at Berkeley High School, and I coach second graders and college level athletes. But to me, basketball is a vehicle for other life lessons. That's really what it is. I mean, very few people are going on to the NBA and so forth and so on. But maybe you could help somebody with college. Maybe you could get somebody to study a little bit more through the game and through the leverage that you have in the game because they want to play or whatever. So it's a vehicle. Right. It's a vehicle for other things. But when we are down 20, and you know, I call a timeout, and I'm very, very adamant. I say, guys, let's get it. And I actually was a girls' varsity basketball coach at El Cerrito Highs too, so it's not just guys. So I've coached girls as well. Let's just get a stop and try to get a score on the next possession. If we don't score, let's try to get another stop. And you do it incrementally. You do it one day at a time, okay? So as you go about kind of plotting through life goals and career goals, I wouldn't worry about 20 years too much. I would stay kind of current with what you know about yourself now. It's fine to plan, but things change. And they change all the time, and situations and circumstances change. And, of course, adapting to change is really what life is about, because the only constant in this life is change. That's the only constant. So to understand, you know, what you're about and what you're really trying to accomplish, you're going to make lefts and rights and put yourself in reverse a number of times. You're going to hit walls. You're going to bounce off, you know, and hopefully come up fighting and standing and so forth and so on. I heard, and I do want to get into some technical things, but I don't want to, and in fact I refuse to jump into how to write a resume until I get some of my own philosophy pretty clear, because everything I believe in is based on having truths and beliefs that you will then transmit to the rest of the process, okay? So what I was going to tell you about my son was, and I would tell this to all of you, I really have no agenda for any of your lives. I don't really care what any of you want to be, as long as you're happy and it's ethical, moral, legal, and nobody gets hurt. I mean, honestly, I have no agenda whatsoever except your own, you know, happiness. And that's what I tell my own son. Again, comedy writer. The chances of making it are difficult. But hey, that's what the guy wants to do. And so I don't want him writing the blog that I wrote, you know, last year, that I gave up on my dream and sold insurance. You know, and he knows that, and I have encouraged. So I'm going to encourage, you know, all of you to do the same. But it does start with understanding yourself as you know yourself today, which is why reading and having this WIN statement, okay, it's not the only thing. It's something that I came up with, and I probably plagiarized from 100 other documents that I've read. I brought some of those documents with me, so it does not have to be about me. You can read the words of Napoleon Hill, who's a very, very famous old success author. You could read the words of a teacher of mine whose name is Spike Humer. He wrote a piece that when I read it, I called him and I said, Spike, can I use this in my trainings? he's a very high-priced consultant and corporate trainer, and he said, sure, Barry, because I said it's just so parallel to my way of thinking. It's called consciously creating your future. So it's not about my particular piece. I don't care, but I do care that you folks consciously create your future. I do care that you're staying current with yourself and stay familiar with yourself so that the messages that you transmit are the messages that you know about yourself as you know them today. And if you can do that, you're at least on the path to what you believe as you know yourself at the moment is your truth, is your goal. You might change your mind. You probably will change your mind, okay? But there's a certain point where if you can't trust yourself, I'm not sure who you're going to trust. So, but again, if you're introspective, if you practice, if you go out and you practice passing and catching and dribbling and all the fundamental things that you have to do to become a player, so at the moment of truth, you've put your muscle memory in a place where there's a better chance to be successful, okay? And that's the goal. You still might miss a shot. You still might fall. But if you stay true to your values and those things, you have a better chance of evolving to what you hope to become as long as you're aware of what it is that you're trying to become. Does this make sense so far? Questions, anybody? I heard, anecdotally, I heard the other day on the radio, Sully Sullenberger was being interviewed, the gentleman who landed that plane in the Hudson. And it's a pretty amazing story, obviously. And he talked about how he became an instant celebrity. I mean, literally, overnight. And he wound up on a speaking tour. Like the next day, they were flying him to places to speak to people and so forth and so on. And he wound up in Dallas. I think it was Dallas. And he got greeted by a throng of people. And one of the a couple showed up who were both, I think, stewardesses, airline stewardesses, a husband and wife team. And